Hey guys, so welcome to Medical Monday and Katie's Journey. So today we're going to talk about negotiating your contract. There's a number of different things to consider when you're negotiating your new contract. This is by no means a comprehensive list of everything you should think about. These are just some things that Dave and I learned over the last year about negotiating contracts. So hopefully you'll learn something. So these first two things that I'm going to talk about pertain to your recruiter. Number one, do you trust your recruiter? If you do not trust your recruiter, then I would highly recommend not getting into a contract with that person. You need to be able to trust that person because you may be put in certain situations in the hospital that are unsafe. They may put your license at jeopardy, and even worse, they may put your patient's life at jeopardy. So you need to make sure that if the hospital puts you in one of those situations, you can get a hold of your recruiter right away and say, this is what is going on, this is what happened, I need your help. And that recruiter needs to be able to go up to bat for you and protect you and your patients. I was talking to a travel nurse recently, and she and her husband travel, and he was in an unsafe situation at one point, and the recruiter went up to bat, and they almost pulled their contracts from this certain hospital they were at because it was so dangerous, and the recruiter was right there for them. And I thought, wow, that's really cool. You need to have a recruiter that will go up to bat for you, for sure. And number two, pertaining to the recruiter, will this recruiter negotiate with you? When I first started traveling, I was with a recruiter who was recommended by an acquaintance, someone I didn't really know, but she's traveled with this certain recruiter before, and I traveled with her, and this recruiter would not negotiate at all. She said, this is the bottom line, I'm giving you the best offer, and that's it. So Dave and I, being novices at that point, we just took it because we thought, oh, okay, she's telling us the truth and that's all she can give and we'll believe her. But what we've learned over the past year is there is always something to negotiate. Recruiters will not give you their best offer from the get-go. There's always something on there that you can negotiate. Because, recruiters are in this to make money, and I'm not trying to talk bad about recruiters that they're all about money and they're hoarding your money and you're working and you're not getting anything. That's not what I'm saying at all. But travel nursing is a business, and I need to make money as a nurse, and my recruiter needs to make money. We all have bills to pay, so it's all in the negotiation, and that's something I'm very happy to have my husband along for because he's very good at that, and I'm not so much. So I call him my business manager. So when it comes time to negotiate contracts, we actually do it together. We both get on the phone with our recruiter, and we both talk to him. So I'm happy to have him along. So at the end of this video, we're both going to sit down together, and he's going to share some final thoughts from his side of the travel nurse contract negotiation too. So the next thing I want to talk about is gross versus net. And recently Dave was surfing some travel nurse websites and forums while I was at work, and he came across what looked like a really great job out in South Dakota, because trying to go to South Dakota next. It's not coming through quite yet, but that's what we're working on. So he came across this really great quote. So he contacted the recruiter, and we talked to this recruiter, and we got the quote, we got the breakdown and everything, and we're looking at it, and we say, oh, looks great, go ahead and put me in. So this is a different recruiter now than the one that I'm working with, so we were put in for the job. And then just 2 days ago, we're talking, and we look at that again, because then I called my recruiter I have now, and she gave me a quote for the same job out in South Dakota, which was like quite a bit less, like $500 less. And we're like, where is the difference? What is going on here? And so what we noticed actually just yesterday is that the recruiter that we contacted from the forum quoted us the gross income before taxes. And my recruiter that I have now quoted me the net income after taxes. So those two numbers should be very different for a reason. And when you are, if you have a couple different recruiters and they're giving you quotes for the same jobs, make sure that you're comparing apples to apples, that you're comparing both the gross to the gross or the net to the net. Because after we figured it out, we found out that really the quotes are really basically the same. So can't believe we missed that. But so that's a really good thing to look at. Make sure you pay attention to gross versus net, because very important difference. I need to know when I get into a contract that I will have a guaranteed 36 hours or 48 hours, most times 36, but you're going to have a guaranteed set amount of hours that you will work and you will get paid for. If the hospital does not need you, you wouldn't work and you would still get paid because you have it in your contract that you will have a guaranteed 36-hour paycheck. So don't forget about that when it comes to negotiating your contract. Also, do you need time off during your contract? It's really best to be upfront with the facility about the time off that you need. And that can all be written in your contract, so it's ahead of time and everybody knows you're working 13 weeks, but in the middle of that 13 weeks, you need 4 days off to do whatever. Like coming up here, if we actually do get to South Dakota, the main reason why we're going to South Dakota is to go to the Sturgis motorcycle rally. So I want to make sure that I have off for that. So I put in, I need off for these certain amount of days for the rally. So there's nothing wrong with putting in for time off. The other thing is, if your contract is falling during holiday time, make sure you know ahead of time what holidays you would be required to work. Will you be required to work Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, major holidays versus minor holidays, however they do it? Just make sure that it is put into your contract ahead of time so there's no surprises. So going into that contract at Christmas time, you'll have to work either Christmas or New Year's Day. And make sure that you know the hourly rate, because holidays are usually different rates, so make sure you have your holiday rate in your contract as well. Floating. When you get yourself into a contract, I'm an ICU nurse, so I want to go in and work in the ICU. But I know that I may have to be floated, and that's always a question I ask when I am interviewing the facility before I actually formally accept the contract. And where will I be required to float? Will I need to go to the PCU? Might I float down to Med-Surg, Med-Tele? These are things that you need to know and have in your contract. So again, there's no surprises. That's funny. We all know in nursing there's many surprises. But try to get as much in your contract as you can, so you can be ready to tackle everything that comes at you when you get yourself into your next travel contract. So that's about all I'm going to talk about here. Now Dave and I are going to sit down together and we're going to kind of talk about more of the money aspect of negotiating, because he's my business manager, so he does all of that, so he has a pretty good handle on that. So we're going to sit down together and talk about money. Let's go. Alright guys, so we're back here at the coach and now we're going to talk money.
Yay, money.
Money. This is my least favorite part. I hate this part about travel nursing. I don't like it. So that's why I have this nifty guy. He talks money and he negotiates. So understand that the company is getting a certain amount of money from the hospital for your work as a travel nurse. Whatever that bill rate is, $80, $90, $100.
It ranges anywhere between probably 70 to like 95, something like that.
Yeah, we don't know for sure. All the hospitals I've worked at, I've never known exactly what the hospital was paying the company for my time there. So that's one thing that makes it kind of hard to negotiate the money.
Yeah, you have to be willing to negotiate. The first offer that they put out for you is not going to be they can do better. That's all I'm going to say. And like Katie mentioned here earlier, you have to understand, one, that they're in business to make money. You're doing what you're doing, not just because you love people, and that's an awesome thing. I mean, to be a nurse, I hope you love people. If you're not, get out of nursing. I've seen some pretty nasty nurses. I don't get it, but anyways, I'm sorry, past all that, I'm rambling. But you're doing this because you need to earn money as well. Mm-hmm. And so the offer is not going to be the best that they can do. They can do better. They're always hiding something somewhere. Something you need to understand with this here particular thing is nothing is free. It's just not free. It's there. It's coming out of that money from somewhere that they are paying them to, the hospital is paying that agency for you to be there. So it's just not free. The sad part is that sometimes you may have one or two agencies that are actually collecting out of that. And what I mean by that is an agency may get a contract with a hospital, and you're with a whole different agency, and you put in for that hospital. Well, the agency that has the contract, the agency that you're with goes through the agency that has the contract. So now there's two agencies that has their hands dipping into that money. Mm-hmm. Okay? And that's just me figuring that out from where I'm at. I've never been involved in any of this, but it just makes common sense. There may be even more money being skimmed out from somewhere. So just understand that you can always negotiate a better price. If they come in and they say they're going to give you, $1,500, okay, that's fine. Negotiate it higher if you can. If they won't, negotiate something on the part of your health care. Negotiate something else. I mean, you can negotiate, get something better than what you are. Okay? So just be aware of that. Also, another thing is also be very careful on what your taxable rate is. Mm-hmm. Don't ever go below $20 an hour on taxable rate. Mm-hmm. Another thing to be aware of is your overtime pay. If you ever have overtime pay, some agencies will negotiate very good with the hospital on what they're paying on overtime pay. But then they come back and they offer you like one, time and a half. They can afford to give you better than time and a half. It's not all the time, but they can. You just need to know when to push. But just don't be embarrassed to push because you have to. And I know Katie hates to do that. She would probably go work for $10 an hour. And that's nothing bad against her. She's just the type of person that's not going to negotiate. Okay, that's what you're going to pay me. I'm going to do it. Well, that's not going to happen with me being here. So just be willing to do that. Another thing to be very, very careful of is Katie mentioned about net versus gross. Be very careful of that. Sometimes it's kind of misleading on that. And she was talking about a situation that we're involved in right now. And it is actually $400 difference right now. It's pretty close, but it's still $400 difference. There's $400 being hidden somewhere that I'm going to find it, and I'm going to, if we're going to stay with the agency we're with, it's going to come out somewhere if we go to South Dakota. We're also looking into Pennsylvania currently right now, and also possibly even North Carolina. You gotta find someone you trust. I mean, we're working with a young lady right now with the company that we're at, that we have 2 assignments that we've gotten through. Yeah, and I enjoy talking with her. We can negotiate. We can talk. She's in business. I'm in business. And that's exactly where it's at. But we can talk. We can negotiate. I can answer questions. She can ask us questions. You know, she relatively is pretty much there for us, and we appreciate that. But I'm in business, and I will look around and I will try to find the best that I possibly can. I'm not trying to offend her or anybody else. Just negotiating. It's business, and that's just the way it works. And if somebody can place us into the same hospital and give us a little bit more money, I'll talk to the person that we are currently with right now. Can you beat it? Can you match it? Can you do whatever? If they can, then we may go with her. But if she can't, well, I ain't no dummy either. So it's just business. And that's just the way, the bulk. And she appreciates that. We're totally all up front. She's up front with us. We're up front with her. And it's great. And that's what we love about the relationship with her. So we will never just up and bail on her. We may take a contract in between a couple times because maybe she can't meet. And it's not, listen, another thing is you have to understand that it's not so much always the agent that's not willing to go there for you. Sometimes it's the agency. In other words, they're not getting permission to go further for you. Let's just be totally upfront and let's just be totally honest here. There are good agencies out there, and there are some agencies you just need to run like hell. Okay? You'll learn. You'll find them. Trust me. First one we were with, I'll never touch that agency again. We'll never go back to that agency, ever. So, you'll learn.
But you can also have a good recruiter at a
bad agency.
It really is. I would say I would give like 80-20. 80% your recruiter and 20% the agency, maybe.
Probably. Maybe even a little less than that, but yes.
Because, good recruiters are
key.
Yeah.
I would rather have an awesome recruiter with a bad agency than a great agency with a bad recruiter. Because you'll never get anywhere.
Yeah.
But if that recruiter is like there for you, and you like the one we're with right now, Jordan. Okay, we'll mention her name, Jordan. And if she's there for you like she is for us right now, I don't really care particularly that the agency may not be that great. Some of the things with the situation that we're going through right now, I could probably tell you it's the agency probably holding her back. Because I know she would want to do better. I'm not saying they're a bad company by no means, but there are bad companies out there. There are bad companies out there.
Yeah.
In everything and anything you find in life, there's always good and there's always bad. And there's some evil companies out there. Run. But anyways, and you'll learn and go into forums. That's one of the better things. Katie, you can tell them a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I'm a part of a couple different Facebook forums. Travel Nursing Newbies on Facebook, and that one is just for travel nurses and those who wish to be a travel nurse. It's just for nurses. And then there's on Facebook, Traveling the Country One Hospital at a Time. That's for nurses. I think recruiters can be a part of that too. And then there's a Traveler and Recruiter Unite group on Facebook as well. That's for travelers and recruiters. Then I'm also part of some for RV travel nurses. So those are cool because that talks about like campground stuff. You know, you can post, like, have you been to a certain campground, or do you know campgrounds around a certain city and stuff, so you can kind of get a good idea of that kind of thing. So yeah, groups on Facebook, forums. I think I mentioned before Highway Hypodermics website, highwayhypodermics.com. That's a good one.
So check them out. There's a lot of good information on all of those websites that you really, it's good to stick together. One more thing I do want to mention with negotiating is sometimes you don't know what to negotiate for. And the best way to do that is call 2 or 3 more agencies for that particular hospital that you're looking at for this contract that an agency is offering you, and see what they're willing to pay. And I mean, we
paying
had
them.
this one job from the first contract, I think it was.
Either the first or the second.
Second
Or
contract
we
for
thought this was going to be
out in
really good
Arizona. We thought it was
contract.
going to be great. I mean, we're like, wow, this is super. And then all of a sudden we found out what we had to pay in insurance, and we're like,
Yeah.
it shot it so far below. It was like, oh God,
Like,
this is insane.
It broke the whole contract.
Yeah.
Like, there's
no, instantly.
way.
I said, nope, take it.
Yeah.
I don't want it. We just leave.
Yeah.
We don't want anything to do with you.
Yeah, so when you're negotiating, like if you're signing on with a new company or whatnot, talking to a new recruiter about a job, ask about the insurance benefits. Have them send it to you in email so you can see what benefits you have and how much you'll be paying each week,
Yes.
so you can compare and contrast that too with each job.
Yep. Sorry about banging my hand there.
I just reprimanded him.
I just got growled at. You just didn't see it because I have the power to edit. So if you have any questions about negotiating, please leave them in the comments below. I will be glad to try to answer them, or Katie to answer them, or if we can't, hey, maybe we can find a source or some way to find an answer. So we're learning this as well. So
Yeah, we're not
we
really
have a lot of
experts.
RNs that are coming on and saying, we're so glad we found your channel, and we want to be travel nurse too, and and all that, and that's great. That's super, guys. Come on board. Let's learn all this stuff together, because honestly, we do. Yeah, if you're looking at us as the Bible for travel nursing, you're going to be disappointed.
No way. Yeah,
But,
so do your own research. Everything we talk about, compare it to other travel nurses, compare it to websites, reputable. Did I say that word right? Reputable. Just do your own research.
Do your own research.
And thanks for coming along. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
And
Like, subscribe, and share.
comment.
And comment, please. And
Bye for
bye
now.
for now.